It is. Welcome then to the MotoTeam Race 1 here at Lydd karting circuit. We're ready to get us underway very shortly, Lewis, and this should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We've seen some great racing yesterday for the MotoTeam class. Team names this year, not just the individual rider names. So you can see now the riders making their way to the grid. Of course, great racing on round one. We've seen Team Pinky in the Brain having a very, very good ride there. Of course, Jamie King riding that bike this weekend, it seems, with the Sonic Lever. So yeah, it should be a great race, and hopefully it'll be more of the same. But it looks like Will Howarth is not there, because Will Howarth is at work with it be the Monday.
Oh, right. But what a shame. I thought we'd seen him earlier today, but no Will Howarth at the front. So there we have an empty pole position.
So now we're going to have to wait and see. Of course, if another rider was to show up and wanted to race Will Howarth's bike, with his permission, they actually could. With it being the MotoTeam class, you can have multiple riders. But it was like no one has filled in that place. So Team SFC Racing looks to have the whole shot for Turn 1. Looks to potentially get the whole shot on the 133.
Yeah, with a good busy grid as well. Apart from that pole position, we've got Team Italia, who were very strong in round one, Lewis, in the distinctive black leathers and black bike with the little tricolore running down the length of the fuel tank.
Yep, it'll be Will Howarth, who should have been starting on pole position for the MotoTeam race, with Team SFC Racing in second. Team Italia will line up in third, with Team Pinky in the Brain in fourth. And what a great field we have here. In fifth position, it's going to be Team Acme Racing starting in fifth with the number one plate. In sixth position, it's going to be Team Aimball with on the 240 machine. Within seventh position, Team KC, Team Martin in eighth, Team Ernie the Badger, and Team Dis in rounding out our top 10 of this grid. 12 bike field with Team SciTech Engineering in 11th, and Team Burt rounding out our MotoTeam grid. So a lot of teams whenever you're talking about this class, but it produces some great racing. And
it's two-class racing as well. It's an open and a standard.
Yep, open as standard class. The standard class is practically just a road bike with some headlights removed and maybe some fairings changed. Apart from that, it's basically the same. The open class, you can almost enter anything as long as it's within the regulations and the capacity regulations. Both two-stroke and four-stroke machines are allowed in the open class, while the standard class is just straight four-stroke 125s. So, Will Howarth would have been the leader of the MotoTeam Open class heading into round two, but he's not here, so it's completely switch up things with Team SFC Racing also racing in the Open class. So leading the way from the grid, they'll be the first Open bike, with Team Italia qualifying as the first standard bike.
133, that is the Team SFC, which I believe stands for Team Strapped for Cash. But we're referring to them as SFC throughout the coverage. With Team Pink in the Brain not racing a pink bike, which has confused me a little bit. They're in the Sonic the Hedgehog leathers.
Yeah, some creative team names, I think it's fair to say, but we'll have to wait and see. But now they point to the lights. The riders will stare at lights. Come on. And the lights will go off, and we go racing here in the MotoTeam race. The first race of the day is Team SFC Racing, who leads the way from Team Italia. Great start from Team Italia, and Team Pink in the Brain in fourth place. Battles going all the way down the field. Team Aimball actually in third position. So a great start from them. Of course, no Will Howarth this time around, so everyone is going to be thinking that they can make the move and they can make the inroads and take the race win.
Great opportunity for these riders to try and secure a race win today. It's a very close field at the front. SFC Italia and Pinky in the Brain coming through to lead this race away from lap one. I think actually it's Team Aimable who have moved forward against Pinky in the Brain, who've moved back one position to fourth over this first lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. Team Pinky in the Brain trying their best in fourth position on the 01 plate bike. Jamie King on board, last year's champion. Of course, Jamie King, he's quite experienced here at FAB and winning championships, and he's hoping to do the same this year in the standard class. But he has one thing in front of him right now and one thing on his mind, and that is to get in third position and get in the overall podium positions, because of course Team SFC Racing leads the way over leads the way in the open class. Well, Team Italia, although they're second overall, they are first in the standard class. So 2 races going on at once.
Yeah, it's hard to see when you're just watching on screen. But we will try and keep you informed about that difference in class. Team Italia currently only 1.2 seconds away on a different on the standard vehicle ahead of Team Aimable, and Team Pinky in the Brain challenging, and some very tight battles going on in the rear of the field.
Yeah, very tight battles, and this right now is the battle for third overall and second in the standard class. What can Jamie King do? Of course, he's looking like Sonic this weekend. He hopes to recreate the speed of Sonic. Now, as you mentioned, battles further down the field. Team KC trying to get past Ernie the Badger. And what can they do in the number 41 machine? They're going to have to find something special. With these bikes being a much bigger wheelbase, it's a lot of work to try and find the opening at its Lydd circuit.
Yeah, it's really underlines it down the inside. Attempts at least the rider, and it was completely cost him there, and he lost the position.
Yep, that was Team Ernie the Badger trying to get past on the 119 machine, but he cannot find any way past, and what a shame that was. But what a great move it was, and that is Team Disbelief getting put under pressure from Team SciTech Engineering on the number 11. So these riders really coming through, and really come through thick and fast, as Team SFC Racing at the front sets the fastest lap of the race on with a 46.787.
Yeah, and he's steadily disappearing on us as down the inside goes Team Martin on Team Acme Racing, I believe. Team Martin on Team KC and on bike 135, and defending successfully as down the inside comes the rival once again down the inside, and a good move there from Team KC. These two very evenly matched.
Yep, Team KC getting ahead, and you can just see actually, although these bikes are standard and the open classes, the amount of different approaches which are taken to get these bikes working. Some use parts from other bikes, some use fairings from other bikes, some just scrap the fairings and think, oh, we're going to crash at some point in the season, there's no point having them. So there's definitely different approaches, I think it's fair to say, but battles are very, very close all the way down the field. And of course, FAB-Racing highly supported this season with a bunch of the sponsors on board for this year, with on the 119, Team Ernie the Badger still looking for a way past. Yeah,
Team SFC still leading this race by 3.9 seconds now from Team Italia, who are leading the standard class as well in second place from Team Aimable, very closely matched and closely followed as well by Team Pinky and the Brain, who is in the open, Pinky and the Brain in the standard class in net P3 in that class, and right behind bike 240 and trying to find a way through.
Yeah, Team Aimball is really defending hard here. 6 laps to go in the race. Jay King will want to do everything he can to get an overall podium position on 01 bike. Looking like Sonic, and you got to say, he's very, very quick in this MotoTeam class. He seems just to take to the bikes. A lot of these bikes actually in the MotoTeam class are using old Moto3 Dunlop tyres on them, so it gives them a lot of grip around these racetracks. But you can just see the dip there, midway through the corner in the braking zone, making it so tricky.
It's a real challenge, that corner, because not only is there a dip as you can see on the screen, but when you get down to the racetrack level, there's actually a rise just before it as well. It's really difficult to I don't envy the riders on these big bikes trying to cope with that level of camber change.
Yeah, the camera does not do it justice. But of course, you can come along here to watch all the racing live at the circuit. If you want to come over at the Lydd track, we're here all day, and you've still got plenty of racing to come. And 2 more races coming up after this one for the MotoTeam class, so plenty of action for the MotoTeam class today, and plenty of chances to make your changes in the championship order and get more points on the board.
Yeah, here comes Team Pinky and the Brain down the inside, looking for a way through, but can't quite get the wheel ahead, so couldn't quite claim the corner.
Yeah, but he just can't quite claim the corner at the moment. He's in the slipstream though, and he's looking for a way past down the inside maybe, and he backs out, he thinks better of it, and you can just see him setting up the bike slightly just so he wouldn't make any contact. Jamie King is a very, very clean racer. Sometimes of course contact can be made, but these guys respect each other so much in this MotoTeam class.
Yeah, won't be going for any low percentage moves, I don't think, as just forming different shapes, just trying to move around in the centre, hearing at least from the Team Aimable bike. So it's certainly going to he's going to be knowing where he is on the circuit and having to completely guess all the time. But so far, Team Aimable looking really unflappable.
Yep, Team Aimball will be using all of their senses right now, especially their ears, because they'll be able to hear what side of the bike Jamie King is on, what side of the bike Jamie King is trying to make a move. But right now, battles all the way down the field. There is a battle at the moment as they come across the line, I believe, between Team Acme still and Team KC.
Yep.
So the championship winners in the open class, the red Honda looking bike is having a battle at the moment. Just 0.3 of a second separate Team Acme and Team KC. But the battle for the overall third position, podium position, is still going on between these two bikes.
Totally. We've also got a super close battle going on between Cytec and I think, between Martin and Ernie and the Badger, who are super close. They were close between Cytec and Dis, but that's suddenly opened out in a big way. So I think Team Dis with a problem on that previous lap.
Yeah, potentially a problem, potentially a small mistake. A small mistake will cost you a lot around the sled circuit on one of these motorcycles. So Jamie King looking down the inside there at turn 1. 2 laps to go in this race, potentially lining up a move and testing the water for the final lap. Will he potentially try to do it at this next chicane? We see at the chicanes they're almost identical to each other. So you can, if you try to line up a move, you have another attempt just 50 metres later.
Definitely, it is fast and furious action. There's very little opportunity to rest here at the Lydd karting, so it keeps the riders incredibly busy.
Yeah, it really does. It keeps them busy. There's almost no respite for these guys, especially on these bigger motorcycles, on these bigger wheels. And now, there is your race leader. There is Team SFC Racing coming through to start the last lap of the race. You can see the bright green knee sliders on his levers. There's RST levers. He goes into the second chicane before he powers it out. And yes, last year it was Darren Anderson riding this bike, and you just seen how quick it was. And you can see this year it's still just as quick. It's still just as consistent with lap times.
Final lap then for Team SFC. They are performing incredibly well, and they are the ones to grab the opportunity that Will Houth has presented by not being able to make the race today, as he comes up towards then the long drag towards the final corner of the race 1 of today. And it's a fantastic win here for Team FFC. Congratulations to Bike 133 and a wave to the crowd. Very happy indeed about that one. A big gap and a very impressive run there, Lewis.
Yeah, very impressive run, but Jamie King still cannot get the better of that number 240 Team Aimball bike at the line. So Team Pinky in the Brain getting picked at the line for third overall and second in the MotoTeam standard class. So Team SFC Racing is the winner overall and the MotoTeam open class, while Team Italia second overall and the winner of the standard class. So you can just see, although there's 2 classes, still both just as competitive.
Totally, yeah, and we didn't actually see Team Italia very much at all, but we can assure you that beautiful bike did come home second.
Yeah, it did. Quite a lonely race from them, but Team SFC Racing takes the race win by 8.364 of a second over Team Italia. Team Aimball comes home in third position after an amazing battle all race between Team Pinky and the Brain. Team Acme Racing will come home in fifth, with Team KC in sixth. Team Ernie the Badger and Team Martin had a battle as well of their own further down the field in 7th and 8th, with Team Cytec Engineering and Team Disc rounding out our top 10. So great race there in the MotoTeam class, and it's exactly what we're expecting. If there was no Will Howarth, no one would really get too much of an opportunity to get a respite.
No, absolutely. He was sorely missed, the Will Howarth entry at least. So a shame that we couldn't see him, but they made up for it with a fantastic race.
So next up will be race 2 of the MotoTeam class for round 2. It was a great race 1, close racing throughout the whole class. Team SFC Racing had a great start to the race. They even won the race. Of course, no Will Howarth this time around though, but Team Italia will be there on the number 70. So the riders now heading out on their warm-up lap for what is going to be a great race on a sunny day. So for the MotoTeam race, for race 2, it should be Will Howarth who lines up on pole position, with Team SFC Racing in second place. Team Italia will line up in third, with Team Pinky in the Brain in fourth. Team Acme Racing will be starting in fifth, with Team Aimball alongside been a great class. It's just great racing. And my name is Lewis Ray, and alongside me once again for this race will be Andy Webster. So Andy, great to have you back.
Oh, thank you, and I appreciate the break there as well. So it was nice to have a quick break, and I understand you had a lot of fun there with your rider in the co-commentary. So fantastic.
Yeah, and now it's time for the MotoTeam class. Of course, the MotoTeam class, second race of the day. And I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to this one because Will Howarth's not here and racing is as close as ever. And of course, Will Howarth, we've seen him round one stormed away, but now he's here, he can't do that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it does. It does bring the field a lot closer together. It was great to see these teams racing earlier on, and they're about to get underway.
Yeah, they're about to get underway. The lights will go on, and then they'll hold, and then the lights will go off, and then we'll go racing. Team Italia gets a great launch, actually, and then they make contact with Team SFC Racing. Team Italia sticks out the outside and makes it work. What a move there, and being able just to keep the bike flowing and keep the momentum into first position. So Team Italia leads the way. It's the first time that we've had this all season. I believe that's Team Aimball in second position, actually, on the 240 with Team SFC Racing just behind. So the riders come through this back section of the circuit. What a great start, all clean, and all the momentum right now will gather.
Yeah, it's tremendous stuff there. It's a slow bike here at the moment, the black leathers with the yellow boots, but out in front it is absolutely Team Italia on one of my favourite bikes to look at in the entire race meeting here, going through to secure that first position from Team Aimable. You were exactly right, with the fastest lap Team Aimable that time round, and Team SFC deposed down to third place with Pinky in the Brain right hot on their heels.
Yeah, so Team Italia leads the way. Team Aimable just behind, 3/10 of a second at the line, with SFC just behind them. But Pinky in the Brain is in fourth position. That's not Jamie King on the bike this time, that's Sean Walker that's riding the 2022 Standard Championship winning bike. So all the riders now come for this back section circuit, wind it up, try to carry all that corner speed through towards the back straight. 10 laps to go in race 2 in the MotoTeam race.
Yep, great stuff, and it doesn't look like Team Italia have got a significant speed advantage here, but they are so much more lent over through the final corner, so that their cornering power is fantastic, but they're just missing out there on the braking and possibly on the top speed on the long drag down to the final corner.
Yep, a long way down to the final corner, but now the first chicane comes, they power it out, everyone gets through safely. Right now, they're all just staying in the train at the moment, trying to work out where is best to make this position change, because of course, these are the biggest bikes that we race here, so you really have to commit to that move and find a good opening. Yeah,
and there's very little room on the racetrack, so they've got to be pinpoint accurate all the way through, perhaps with the exception of this run down to the final corner, which is perhaps with the widest section on the circuit.
Yep, there probably is the widest section of the circuit. It's quite a wide last turn as well. Gravel on the outside, and then Team Italia lean the way, but you can just see some of the bikes using all of the track and then some. It's some of which is so used to getting seen here, but if you go off the track, there's a rider stopped actually there. Yellow flag will out because of that, but there's the leaders coming through the second chicane. But if you run wide on that final corner, it's very, very bumpy.
It is very bumpy, and actually Team SFC were almost in the pit lane coming out of the final corner, but at the moment it is still Team Italia from Aimable and SFC with Pink in the Brain in that fourth position, and these guys are now 3.3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. There's just Team Acme, Martin, Casey, Ernie in the Badger, Cytec, Team Dis, and it looked like Team Dis were going down in the order there. Possibly Team Burt who was having the issue and causing the yellow flag.
Yeah, you've seen SFC Racing there trying to make a move on Team Aimball, but had to back out of it, which will let them run wide and open the door for Team Pinky in the Brain, who also set the fastest of the race that time around, the 46.7 for Sean Whitaker on board that bike. He powers it out through though, and now it's his turn to try and fight for the Team Aimball. Of course, there's two classes in the MotoTeam race. There's the Standard and the Open. Team Italia lead the way in the Standard class. Actually, the first 3 bikes in the race are for the overall win and for the Standard win. Team SFC Racing are the first Open bike in 4th position, but there you see they're getting very, very close with Team Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, and looks like Pinky in the Brain getting ahead at this stage. It's difficult to monitor, but he is the 0-1 car. 0-1 bike is Pinky in the Brain, getting himself up ahead and into that third position overall. And SFC, perhaps the open bike, not really as well favoured as the standard here, this particular condition on the track.
Yeah, of course, we have a 0-1 bike and a 1 bike, both the champions from last year, Jamie King and Sean Whittaker in the Team Pinky in the Brain bike for the standard class win. And then we have the open class win, and then we have Team in the standard class win. But great race going on so far. 6 laps to go, and now we're going to have to wait and see what is going to happen. 6 laps to go in this race, and then we can see Team Pinky in the Brain push it on in this final corner. They're so quick for this final corner. Somewhere where we see them try to gain time. Can he make a move into turn 1? No, he cannot.
Very committed through that final corner is the Pinky in the Brain entry, particularly with Sean Whittaker, I think you were saying is the rider's name, going on into the S's now at the start of the lap, and it's SFC who are trying to stay with these open category, open class Moto Team bikes, but at the moment it's Team Italia who seem to have a very smooth ride of it.
Yep, Team Italia had a very good race 1, but no one would have expected in race 2 for them to be leading it by 6 tenths of a second. Very confident from the number 70 Team Italia bike. But you can just see now with this battle happening for second position, as you can see, they're Pinky in the Brain so quick right on the outside. Every single lap it seems actually he's using more of the track.
Absolutely, he's round the outside, nowhere to go though as the riders converge towards going over the grid hatchings. But is that an overtake? Yep. Is that a slow moment there for 240 Team Aimable, losing 2 positions, Lewis?
Yep, Team Aimable losing 2 positions into this chicane. Sean Whittaker and Pinky in the Brain is in position overall and 3rd position in the class at the moment. Team SFC Racing now bump up to 4th position as to 3rd position, as the Team Aimball drop all the way down to 4th place.
Yeah, a bit of a rough ride out of that early chicane in the racetrack, and then coming around then the long right-hander to finish the lap 8. Finish lap 8 with 3 to go now. The fastest lap at the moment, Team Pinky in the Brain unlocking some pace towards the end of this race.
Yeah, they certainly are. He's definitely picking his brain, trying to find any place on the circuit where he can make some time, where he can make some inroads on the first place man, and he is certainly doing that. Fastest lap of the race, as we've already said. And then Team Italia just ahead, but 9 tenths of a second of a gap now. That looks like Team SFC are catching pretty quickly, so if they start battling, it's going to mean Team Italia will certainly make that gap bigger. But hello and welcome if you're just joining us. You join us during the MotoTeam race 2, and if you're watching this thinking I want to get involved, head over to the FAB-Racing website or the FAB-Racing Facebook page and get in contact with us. We will sure to point you in the right direction. Contact Bike Centre as well, and of course Jamie King, who's been racing in this class for multiple years and will be happy to help you. It's a class that has grown massively over the past couple of years and has really seen almost a family around it. All of these riders really loving on and off track life in the paddock.
Absolutely, and in fact Pinky in the Brain catching right up to Team Italia right now as well, getting super close, less than a quarter of a second away, and there's Pinky in the Brain with the fastest lap, a 46.1. Team SFC, a personal best, a 46.150, only 0.05 of a second between the two, Pinky and SFC on the previous lap as they chase down Team Italia.
Yeah, Team Italia last time around was about the same lap time, slightly faster actually than Pinky in the Brain, but last lap time is now, and you can just see there Team Italia taking a lot of the curb actually on the inside. It's got to be a rough ride. Just 3 tenths of a second separated them at the line. What is going to happen now? Can Team Pinky in the Brain or Team SFC Racing pick up any pieces?
Of course they know it's the final lap. The final lap flag has gone out, so it's just that extra impetus for the riders as now in comes Pinky in the Brain to try and make this move. It's here or now or never, Lewis, as they come into the final corner.
Yeah, they come into the final corner. Pinky in the Brain's very quick. Can he do anything? Going to the line. Can he power to the line? He's off the track once again, but Sean Whittaker cannot, and it's Team Italia who take the race win by just over 1/10 of a second from Team Pinky in the Brain. Team SFC Racing comes home in the final position on the podium with the fastest lap of the race, a 46 flat. So great race in there, just 3/10 of a second.
It's not done yet. There's still a battle for the line here. It's into the tail of the field. That was Casey against Ernie and the Badger, and Casey securing 7th place. But it didn't look like Team Italia knew quite how close the riders were behind him. He looked quite relaxed crossing the line to me.
Yep, so Team Italia, great job there. They take the race win by 1/10 of a second, 1.5 tenths of a second, and Team Pinky in the Brain is in second. Team SFC Racing in third with the fastest lap of the race. Team Aimball in fourth with Team Acme in 5th place. Team Martin and KC and Ernie and the Badger had a great battle throughout the race in 6th, 7th and 8th, with Team Cytec Engineering and Team Dis rounding out our grid and rounding our order for the race 2 of the Moto teams. But of course, they will be back later on.
So it's time now for our
MotoTeam
class racing, and we've seen this. We've seen so much fun racing with this group. They race on the team. The bike is the team effectively, and the riders can be interchangeable. I don't know how much interchangeability we've actually had in practice, but there you've got the Team Italia team that secured the win in race 2, ready to get underway.
Yep, ready to get underway, and yet this weekend we've not seen too many riders changing about. Maybe it's just because of the location of the event, maybe some of the riders couldn't make it, and of course we are racing on the Monday, so maybe some of the riders just couldn't have the day off, because of course this class is for adults. And you can just see now Team Italia getting ready for what is going to be an awesome race for them. They had a great race one. Now they set out on their warm-up lap, of course, just one warm-up lap before we get underway in the Moto team class.
Yeah, definitely. Team Italia securing the win in the previous round, and looked very relaxed and calm about it, but actually only won by about 1/10 of a second. So these machines very closely aligned in terms of pace, and we're looking forward to another drama-filled race here for the Moto team.
Yep, so of course Will Howard should have been starting on pole position, but he's not here this round, sadly. But Team SFC will be starting on pole position, should be starting on what should be pole position in 2nd position in the grid slots, and Team Italia in 3rd position, so it should be a very good race. A surprise last race, I think it's fair to say, for Team Italia. No one really expected them to be that fast. I don't even think Team SFC expected them to be that fast, but
maybe not.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's all to play for then in this final, this finale for this class in the final race 3 of today for the Moto team riders, and we're under starters orders. And it's lights out and away they go with a little wheelie from Team Italia, slowing him slightly, and round the outside. I think that goes our team Pinky and the Brain potentially into securing that 3rd position, but it's Team SFC away from the start from Team Italia and Pinky and the Brain, with Acme bringing up that 4th position.
Yep, a great start, a clean start at the moment, but Team Italia a little wheelie off the line and really had to work to keep the bike there. But there we have, lower down the field, Team Dis running away in 7th position away from Team Burt. So a lot of riders in this field, 8-bike field, which is a pretty healthy field for the start of the season. As we noticed last year, the more the season went on, the more the riders seen how great the racing was and got involved. And if you want to get involved, obviously head over to the FAB-Racing website. But right now it's the Team SFC Racing who leads the way with 9 laps to go from Team Italia. Can Team Italia pick up a 2nd race win of the day? We're going to have to wait and watch as Team Italia looks strong on the 7th of Team Pinky and the Brain, just behind, not giving them any room to make a mistake.
Identical first laps for Team SFC and Pinky and the Brain there, 49.282 from Team Italia's fastest lap of 49.162. Absolutely anything to play here in the top 3.
Yeah, anything to play for. You can see Dale Baldwin taking the pictures of these MotoTeam bikes, and you can also see Team SFC Racing having a little look behind them to see that the Team Italia bike is still there. Number 70 powers out the corner and chases that race win. A double race win in the same day would be pretty magical. Oh, Team SFC!
And Italia fall off
Team
behind
Italia
as well. They didn't make contact. That was a sympathy run there, just possibly slight distraction on Team Italia, but it was FSC. This blows this race wide open.
Yeah, it does. It blows this race wide open, but Team SFC Racing just crashed on that point where you're just starting to pick up the throttle. The front end might have just got light, and Team Italia obviously seen that happen and potentially just a natural reaction, pressing on that front brake and folding on the front. So what a dramatic start to our race. 8 laps to go in this race though, so Team Italia and Team SFC Racing, the first 2 riders, are now out, so that would promote Team Pinky in the Brain into first position and promotes everyone up 2 places.
There they go then, Pinky in the Brain into first place, with Acme Racing on the red bike in second place, Ernie and the Badger into 3rd, and Team Martin in 4th. Team Dis all the way up to 5th now.
Yep, battles all the way down. This is now the battle for 3rd position on track, and who is going to get it? It looks like Team Ernie the Badger really wants this podium. I believe this will be the first podium of the year so far here at round 2 at Lydd. So 7 laps go. All these riders have had so much time on the track, of course, this weekend, so really they know where the limits is, but obviously it's in a race, sometimes you're going to push past it.
Absolutely, and it does look like Team Martin are closing in here on a potential podium, but Pinky in the Brain away out in front by 3.9 seconds. Of course, they were right with the pace of SFC and Team Italia at the start, so they are hot favourites for the win here.
Yep, hot favourites for the win. 6 laps to go before anyone can take a win though. So there we have, I believe that's Team Burt coming for your picture to come across the line to make 6 laps for themselves. So what a great race we have so far. Team Pinky in the Brain leading now by 3.9 seconds and having a pretty comfortable lead, I think it's fair to say. But Team Acne Racing and Team Ernie the Badger having a battle still for 2nd and 3rd position. Team Ernie the Badger and Team Martin for 3rd position. 4/10 of a second separating them, and there is that battle right now on screen.
Yeah, it doesn't look like 4/10 of a second, so that's opened up a little bit, hasn't it? As they, of course, don't take the infield section. They're going the long way around in terms of distance, and going around into the next corner, and they do open up that gap to 6/10 of a second. Ernie in 3rd, Martin in 4th at the moment, but all to play for still, with just 5 laps to go for our very quick senior riders here. Team Pinky in the Brain lead Team Acme.
Yep, they certainly do, and the number 1 plates in 1st and 2nd. The 01 of Team Pinky in the Brain leading the standard class, and the reigning champions of the Moto Team standard class, and Team Acne Racing are the champions of the Moto Team Open class, the reigning champions of the Moto Team Open class, and are also leading the Open class at the moment. Ernie the Badger in 2nd place in the Open class, while Team Martin is in the standard class in 2nd position. So right now the battle between these 2 riders are in completely different classes, but yet they're still duking out on track for that overall 3rd position.
Yeah, who will emerge victorious from the first chicane on the track? Well, it's clear in a way. It is Team Martin away from Ernie and the Badger. Ernie the Badger, not and the Badger. Ernie is the Badger, it seems, and they're into 4th place now as Martin have managed to get themselves ahead. A really good overtake into turn 1, and the work for that was done through the final corner, as ducking down to try and get the best aerodynamic position is our leader, Team Pinky and the Brain. And it doesn't look much like a racing bike, does it, Lewis? But that's because it's the standard class.
Yeah, it's the standard class at the moment, and that's Sean Whittaker right now on the bike of the Team Pinky and the Brain, the 01 plate. But Team Acne Racing, that is ridden at the moment by Chris Wells, who you'll see later on in the Pit Bike 140 class. But Team Martin in 3rd position at the moment, ahead of Ernie the Badger. So hopefully it'll be all clean to the end of the race, and we can see some great racing, especially for that 3rd position. Yeah,
it looks like obviously SFC and Italia didn't pick themselves back up to get get back racing. They both just peeled off to the infield and decided not to continue. Very little to learn or any point learning anymore really in the proceedings, and with nearly 2 laps to go as he crosses the line. This is your leader by a fair distance, but the number 1 Team Acme red bike here only 3.9 seconds behind, so Team Pinky in the Brain can't really relax at this stage.
No, it's certainly that Chris Wells is keeping Sean Whittaker very honest in this MotoTeam class, so we're going to have to wait and see what is going to happen. The 2 number 1 plates will duke it out on track, hopefully, but it's pretty so far, and Team SFC Racing, it looked like they just damaged their tail unit whenever they fell. It was one of the few places where they were close enough to properly hit into one of the barriers and properly damage their bikes, and I don't think it really helped with the Team Italia bike coming in straight after it.
No, it certainly got showered in gravel at very least, but that was a very unusual accident that we saw, but both riders were absolutely fine, and I would have thought both bikes would be okay as they start the final lap now.
Yep, final lap of the race time. It's Team Pinky in the Brain who leads the way with Sean Whittaker on board. Can he take the bike home? Can he win this final race of round 2 here at FAB-Racing, here at the Lydd kart circuit? So he has a 3.9 second gap at the line between second position between Acme Racing. So what can happen? We're going to have to wait and find out. We won't have to wait long though, because he's heading on to the back straight.
Absolutely, and it's almost a walk in the park here for Team Pinky in the Brain. Somewhat handed this victory from both SFC and Italia, but here we go. He'll be super happy with this one. A win for Pinky and the Brain on the 01 bike in the standard class, and a second place overall for the number 1 Acme Racing, although that is of course a class victory in the open group. Team Martin will finish just ahead of Ernie the Badger, and then we expect to see Team Dis and Team Burt complete our race very shortly. Here they come. Here comes Team Dis to pick up that 5th position, and a little nod to whoever's watching and supporting them, and we wait for Team Burt to come in to finish this one out as well. But that is your order, because we sadly lost SFC and Team Italia on lap 2.
Yep, we certainly did, and what a race it was looking to be. But as we said, Team Pinky in the Brain will take the race win with Sean Whittaker on board. Acme Racing with Chris Wells on board took second place, with Team Martin and Team Ernie the Badger battling it out for 3rd and 4th positions. Team Dis and Team Burt comes home in 5th and 6th with a big shock to the system and a lot of drama, with Team SFC Racing and Italia crashing out at the exact same corner in the exact same lap. But 3 great races that we've seen this weekend from the MotoTeam class. Yeah, it really has been very, very enjoyable, and I'm sure that they're all enjoying themselves too in these interestingly named teams that start the season.